Hi, everybody. I'm Zach Timmons, the Membership and Marketing Director, and I'm here today with your Membership Coordinator, Tim Hoyt, and last year's Arkansas Membership Director, Paul Szecsi, who did an incredible job getting his state at net gain plus, what was it, Tim? 5%? Yeah, 5%. He did an outstanding job and planned some cool and new ways to bring in members to the state of Arkansas. So I'm going to kick it over to Tim, and he's going to start our conversation with Paul.
Well, Paul, congratulations on a great 2023-2024 year as Arkansas State Membership Chairman. You did Arkansas proud, and you definitely did the whole Fraternal Order of Eagles proud. And this year at the convention, I was very happy and proud to have given you a fifth of Crown Royal that you won because you had met a challenge that I put out at the incoming state president's training. Now, in looking at your history, Paul, I see that on August 17th of this year, you celebrated 24 years as being a member of the Fraternal Order of Eagles. And I just wanted to ask you, do you recall what prompted you to join the Eagles back in the year 2000?
Good afternoon, Tim, and good afternoon to all my brothers out there in Eagledom. Boy, howdy, that was a long time ago now that you bring it up. What I remember the most about that experience, Tim, was that I was invited, my wife and I, to come out to a Sunday breakfast. And when I got there, I just saw a lot of happy people. Towards the end of breakfast, I was invited to the social room to have some drinks. Later on, I find out that everyone working there was working for free because they were raising money for a charity. And I just thought that, wow, what a neat way, since I just moved to this area from Colorado. Now I'm here in Arkansas. I thought, hey, what a great way to start helping people around here. Wasn't really into volunteering before that, but it got me hooked. And from there, we just went on and had a great 24 years, like you said, behind us.
Yeah, I looked up Kim's information also, and I see that she'll be celebrating 24 years on December 19th of this year. So she's 23 years and 9 months in. And did you say she was with you that day when you went in for breakfast?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. In fact, it was more of her friend than it was my friend that invited us.
Well, that's outstanding. And so you went in, you felt welcomed when you got into the facility. And like you said, the most important thing that came from that breakfast was that you were invited to come into the social room. And you got to really see what the nuts and bolts of the organization was about. That there were people there volunteering, doing things to help raise money for people less fortunate. And apparently, since you've got 24 years in now, that struck a good chord in your heart. Now, moving forward then to this past year, when you accepted the title of membership chairman prior to the 2023-2024 year, what were your first steps in getting prepared for that coming year that you just finished as the state membership chairman?
This is actually the second year that my wife and I were membership chairmen. Now, when I say my wife and I, she was the membership chairman for the auxiliary in the state of Arkansas. So, and I think that really helped us out, being able to work at it, constantly having each other's ear. So when we got into this, this was the second time around that we did this, we thought we would do something special. So the first thing I did was I wanted to have some kind of a contact in each area that I could communicate one-on-one, preferably someone that I had a previous relationship with. So what I did was I got in touch with past area presidents out of each area, and I communicated with them. And like I said, I did that probably right after the ISP in Omaha. And so talk to them about what our plans were and what we're thinking about. So I would have eyes and ears that could get back to me if there was an issue or just someone I could work with. That was before, because the new year hadn't started. I wasn't sure who the membership chairman was. So that was my first thing, was to get someone that I could work with.
Awesome. So do you really think that your year that you had already had as a membership chairman helped you prepare and identify any weaknesses before your term started, and that's why you reached out to those past local presidents?
Yes, absolutely. A couple of weaknesses, a couple of different issues I found the first year. And I just thought that that would be the easiest way to fix that. Just to have that communication, have someone that I can trust, have someone that I have their ear, someone that I know that I've used before as state president to run different charities or be a chairman for a different committee. So someone reliable, yes, definitely.
So you became proactive prior to accepting the position when it officially started on June 1st. You actually, as soon as ISPs were over, you jumped out of the gate and started pursuing those contacts immediately, correct?
Absolutely. To have the kind of gear that we were fortunate enough to have. And again, this is, we're not talking about Paulie here. Okay. It has nothing to do with me. I would say my first thanks would be to my wife because she is so brilliant. And then obviously the biggest thank you would go out to the entire membership of Arkansas because they're the ones, like when we talk about boots on the ground. I could push all the buttons and do whatever I can from my little office here, but it's those people that are out there and sharing different ways of talking to people about what we have, this great, unfortunate secret, which I felt like we really need to get the basket out from on top of our lamp and let us shine bright. And I think this really worked out well.
Yeah, and we do too. And knowing that was the result that you got, and knowing what you had experienced during your first term as state membership chairman, going into this second one, once it got off the ground, did any unexpected challenges come up and you had to deal with during this second term? And if so, what steps did you take to correct them?
Yes, I did find some weaknesses, if you want to call it that, or unexpected challenges. Probably my first unexpected challenge that I got right from the get-go, because soon as the new year started and the new presidents were in, I started contacting, I should say, local area membership chairman. And I was rather shocked, but most of the areas the president had not appointed anyone to be membership chairman. So that took a little while. And I wanted and for them to get a membership chairman together, someone that knew what they were even talking about, which was really helpful because some of them, it was the first time they ever did it. So I was able to give them some pointers, hopefully make their year go better. But it was tough because some of them, it wasn't until October in the year that the president was able to find someone to chair that and get in touch with that individual. So that was tough. The second issue that I found was a lot of the areas, if not most of them, had little to no literature about our organization. I mean, heck, half of them didn't even have proper membership forms to fill out for new people. Or they didn't have some of the great literature that the grant has put out to help us along the way, and or even touting our Memorial Foundation or our commitment to first responders, military, and all that, which I found really became a helpful part of how to bring people in. So once I figured that out, I got the secretaries locally at first to start calling in to getting literature, and that really started moving the ball in the right direction.
So I noticed that you had a Arkansas membership recruiting day. So can you think of what really inspired you to come up with that day? And when it was held, did all of the areas hold that on the same day, or how did that work out?
Okay, well, what inspired me first was we're going to go back to the greatest thing in my life, my wife. She works for 32 years now. She's been in the radio business. And she's presently a DJ now in number one, I'll just tout this, number one radio morning show in town. And it was her idea. Actually, she came up with this idea years ago, but we never really, we tried it locally, and it sort of worked and it didn't work. But every time we tried it, we got a little better at it. But so she's the one that inspired this whole thing. She was behind it all. And then, yes, all the Aries got in touch. We started this right from the get-go at the convention. At the beginning of the year, I told all my brothers that we're going to be doing this, and we planned on it for May 4th, which I'm really glad, because it almost took that much time to get everybody on board. You know how it is, even though a child or someone may have a good heart and want to help, life gets in the way all the time. So, and something like this is a little bit of a large undertaking.
Yeah.
But we went ahead and did it on May 4th, happened to be a Saturday. So may the force be with you for all those Trekkies, Star Wars guys out there. But yeah, we did it on the 4th, and it really turned out well. Every single Aerie had some kind of involvement, some more than others. And my wife, and the big thing about it was my wife was able to make commercials that ran in the local area of the Aerie so people could hear about what's coming up. And I think that really helped to get people in the door.
And it seems to me that by having it on May 4th, which is the first Saturday in May, it seems to me you had some foresight to understand that, that's the Kentucky Derby Day, which is a big draw for a lot of Aries. So you combined giving people
it all came together.
You combined the opportunity for non-members to come in to participate in a function for Kentucky Derby, but you could roll that into the membership draw also.
It definitely turned out. Now, that wasn't a planned part. That was just the Lord being with us, and another great idea which helped. But it really, from what I've heard from everyone, it really was, people are like, Eagles membership day, helping charities locally. I wonder what this is all about. Hey, look, they're going to have hot dogs and chips. And some Aries did it even a little more than that. Hamburgers also. And all for free. And that was the big pull. People are like, wow, I got to check this out.
So based on what your wife did with the promotions by the radio, and then knowing that you had it on another day that gave people an additional reason to celebrate and come out and participate, is there anything that you would recommend to people that are going to watch and listen to this podcast of things they could do or something they should try similar to what you've done in the future? You got any perspective or ideas on stuff like that?
Let's start off with the most simple thing, Tim. Any relationship that you have, whether it be husband and wife, father and son, customer and client, what's the most important part of that relationship? I consider it to be communication. And you'll never get anything, no matter how big or small you're doing, unless there's communication. And for something that runs we started 10 months in advance, there has to be a lot of communication. Like I said earlier, people get on with their lives, they forget things. It gets put on the back burner. Communication would probably be my number one thing I could tell anyone, whatever they want to try. Now, moving forward from there, radio is such a great avenue, because, believe it or not, radio stations, per their FCC license that they get, they have to, by law, or as they'll lose their license if they don't, they have to do what's called PSAs, public service announcements. So what we've found is that we can go ahead and call the radio station and advertise just about anything you want. Most of them have a community page that would go on. So people will hear what the VFW's got, what the Eagles have. So you can do it for just about anything. You could start small with just, you don't even have to have an open house. Just, hey, come on out to breakfast. Hey, we got karaoke. Anyone like karaoke out there? The stuff that all the areas are already doing and have been doing for decades, 125 years. We've been doing so many great things, 126, excuse me. And so really what it is that you put out there, communication, let people know. Sometimes all we can get out is a banner or something. The radio is such a large and loud avenue. You can really get your point across. So communication is probably about the big thing. Second thing is, if you're going to do something, you want to have, like we talked about before, the literature that talks about us and how to sign people up. I got to do a shout out here to my brother, Zach. Bro, you helped me big time. He agreed to put together what we called care packages. He put that together for us and sent one package to each and every area in the state. So they were getting literature, they were getting balloons. If there was a banner, that came along too, just whatever they could. Sometimes he'll have items that you could put in there, so you could have like a contest, a raffle, and you could give away a t-shirt or a hat that says the Eagles. So all those things are just help and help and help to really get a good success in whatever it may be.
And I think that was a critical point and a great point that you made about the radio stations having to do PSAs, public service announcements for those who don't know, and they have to do that for free. And so I think a lot of our small and rural areas across the jurisdiction miss out on that opportunity because they just don't know about it. So I appreciate you pointing that out and telling us how valuable that was to your success this past year. So with all those things considered, what did you learn during the year that you can use in the future should you lead the state's membership efforts again?
We're going to go back to that other C word, communication. You've got to keep it in the forefront of everyone's mind. I'm sure many states have the same thing. Here in Arkansas, we have a newsletter that goes out every month. So every month there was a communication in there. Many hours of personal phone calls with the membership chairman of the local area or the president. So got to keep it in their mind and stay on it. Because there's always going to be something that's going to pop up that you may not be prepared for. So really trying to do as much as you can in advance will help you have a more successful fundraiser, membership membership run, or anything you want to do.
And Paul, from where we sit right here, that was a very great, successful thing you did because you just proved that success comes from hard work. And you showed that the harder you work by making those calls and keeping those lines of communication open, the more successful you became this year through your role as the state membership chairman. And again, we want to commend you on that. Now, if you could give one piece of advice to any other state membership chairman moving forward, what do you think that would be?
Don't feel overwhelmed. Obviously, if you're a membership chairman of your local area, you have your feet dirty already. So that's great. But when you take it for the state, now you're dealing with a totally different ball game. Don't take a look at it like, oh my goodness, I have to try to push this truck up a hill. Because you're going to be dealing with fellow Eagles that feel the same way you do. And for the good of the order, and you always want to use that and anytime you're talking about something, because that's what this is all about, is the good of the order. And getting the people on board, it's again, going back to that communication, you can't let it go to the wayside. But whatever we try to do, we have proven in 126 years, we can cover across any lake, any river. We can get over any kind of hurdle that we may have in front of us. And sometimes, unfortunately, we even put it in front of ourselves. But don't be afraid of the fact that this might be something I can't do. Ask for help. The Grand is there for us. Like I said, going back to Zach, he helped me a lot, but that only happened by asking questions. Whatever you try, make it fun. It's not a job. We're going to want to enjoy ourselves while we get ready and while we're doing it, because together we can move this needle. Oh, shucks. All right, as a handyman, I need to fix something here. Anyway, but we can make this change in our community. We can get our word out, and more members that do this. That's a big thing, is not having just a couple of people, have as many people behind you to help you on this, whether it be your area or the other areas that we're talking about, having them on board. And that way it's going to make it easier, and the party and the celebration afterwards is going to be even greater.
Yeah, and one of the most important things I think I've gotten from you today, Paul, is that you were a firm believer and an example setter in showing that incremental successes, encouraging all your local areas to just grow one member at a time, was going to eventually turn into a monumental success come May 31st. And you proved that to your state and to yourself when you not only reached net gain, but you reached net gain plus 5%. And the best example you give is incremental successes lead to monumental results. And again, I want to thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget, what I did was rather small compared to what all the members of the state of Arkansas did. And that's where the applause need to go to. You and I, Tim and Zach, we could talk all day long, but unless we have brothers and sisters in all of our areas working on the same page, all 8 cylinders running, if you want to say, that's where we're going to get things done. And that's where I want to say thank you to all my brothers and sisters in Arkansas.
Well, thank you. Zach, you got anything to close?
No, Paul, is there anything else you would like to add before we wrap up?
Again, what a privilege it was. And that's what I'm hoping other brothers will get from this, is if you do say yes to being state membership chairman, it's a privilege, and you put your own spin on it. And if there's anything I can do to help, as now fortunate enough after 24 years being a past state president, I have just been installed as Southwest Regional President. So sky's the limit, brothers. Get on out there. Don't be afraid. And and I'm not that far away, give me a call. Call Zach. He'll give you my number if you need some help.
Well, following in the steps of your wife, I'm going to say that we here at WFOE FM at 1898 on your FM radio dial, and hopefully we're #1 in your heart. Want to thank everyone, and want to thank you for being here today. And we want you just to keep smiling and keep looking up, and we will see you where eagles fly. Thank you, Paul.
That's a fact. Thank you, brothers.
Thank you.